Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you on this Saturday afternoon. Hey, I've gotten recent information from a viewer out there. Thanks so much, Cody, for sharing and allowing me to share your video. But a funnel cloud sighted out over the Battle Lake area, a line of storms working its way across Otter Tail County, southern parts of Becker County. Seeing this same storm. Here's a look at the latest radar. And as we loop this for you, you can certainly see this batch of clouds. Now, the skies are very gray in and around southern parts of Clay County right now, but it's just rain showers in towards Fergus Falls. See this backward C shape right here? There is some energy rolling in, and it has produced a funnel cloud, and it's a pretty sizable one. I don't want to make you wait. Let me show you this. And once again, I want to thank Cody for sharing this video today. Check this out. Now, again, this is a ways away over the distance, but you can clearly see what looks to be a fairly sizable funnel. Let's get to that right now. And again, this is a video, so you can see here is this lowering of the cloud base right here. That's called a wall cloud. And look, these are not towering supercellular type thunderstorms, but at best they would be shallow supercell type thunderstorms. That's a pretty stout looking funnel cloud there. Let's put it into motion here. And again, Cody, thank you so much. West Battle Lake about 33 minutes ago. So right at about 5 o'clock is when this was posted and when I was notified that this was going on. So you take a look, not expecting severe weather today. If something like this makes contact with the ground and you can see some, what looks like water being splashed up down here near the ground, that's what you look for when you get into a situation with a funnel cloud. Is it kicking up any debris? This one may be. So this would be a water spout over the lake. You can see the lightning flashing on with this. Go ahead and share with your friends or tag your friends in this video so they get a chance or an opportunity to see this. This line of showers and storms that produce this puppy moving to the north and east at a slow clip. And I mean really slow. Some areas are going to see some be inundated with some significant rain. You can see that funnel shape quickly dissipated as we went through the period of the video here again, but we'll take it back to the beginning again. Thanks so much to Cody for sharing this. You can see right here that storm that produced the funnel cloud. Now, could we see this on the radar? Battle Lake happens to be quite a long ways from the radar site. And again, as you take a look at this video, very incredible. And I'm going to see if I can pull this video just a little bit, make it larger here. Pardon me while I maneuver this around on the screen just a pinch. Okay, here we go. Let's see. It's going to take me a second. I'm going to try to make that bigger. There you go. Now you can see more better. Okay, so you can kind of see down near the base, West Battle Lake, Otter Tail County, that there may have been a moment there as that system worked its way through. As we put it into play mode, you can kind of see, here it is. See that? There's water getting kicked up by that. It sure looks like it to me. So this then would not be a funnel cloud, but it could very possibly be what looks like a water spout. Now, the National Weather Service says land spouts will be possible from this line of storms as it works its way through Otter Tail County. It's right on the Todd County border right now. Let's go back to the radar. And again, I want to thank Cody Thompson. Cody Thompson gets all the credit for taking this shot and alerting us that this was even going on in the first place. So thank you very much, Cody. I'll go ahead and tag you in this broadcast so you can see here. But again, I sure appreciate you taking the time to do that. Don, thank you. Now let's take a look at what's going on as far as the radar goes and let folks ahead of these storms know. And I'll look at them carefully and see if I can see any activity. Now, as we zoom in, you can see the big lake there. There's Vining. There's West Battle Lake right here. Now we'll go back in time just a little bit, and I want to go to the 5 o'clock time frame because that's the window of time where I think it was moving right over the top. So if you take a look at the time stamp up above, let me see, why is the time stamp not going on? Oh, that's because I've gone to this mode that allows me to go way back in time. Let me see if I can find, that looks pretty good right there. West Battle Lake, all the pink over it, that would be a hail core there. There's a little bite taken out of that leading edge of the storm. Let's see what the velocity looks like on this and see if we can see any shear or spin in this storm that far back. So there it is. Pardon me. Again, I'll get the timestamp for you momentarily. You see the greens and the reds. This is a rolling right out here, though it might turn into what looks like, right here. Moving over West Battle Lake right here. That is what we're looking at. This timestamp on this, I will read this to you here if I can switch it over. Can we see the time on that? Let's see. 4 4:53. So at 4:53 was the time that it looks like that spin or rotation was over West Battle Lake. And that's when we got that video of what could have been a water spout that touched down on Battle Lake. Now this is moving as we loop this for you. You could see that kind of weakened substantially as the storm moved north. But there was another one back over here that showed some greens next to the reds. So these storms do have a little bit of spin in them. And as we look at the latest scan, we're seeing a little bit of that spin not far from Edwards, Highway 3, Highway 22 out there, just south of the Pelican Rapids area. Here's a look at the radar once again. Now let's look south just a bit. Yeah, we see down here by Morris and Benson, another storm with some spin or shear in it that moved through. It's now moving into Grant County at this particular time. I've got a picture from West Battle Lake Hudson. Thank you very, very much for sharing that. If you want to post that on here, I really do appreciate that. And I'll pass it along to the National Weather Service too here, that it looks like it may have water spout over Battle Lake. Yeah. May have been kicking up water. Video shared. All right, very good. So thank you very much again, because your word on these type of storms, let me show you what I mean here, meteorologically speaking. Sometimes those stronger or more destructive style tornadoes are from storms that grow very tall into the atmosphere. These storms are not that tall. You see the leading edge of these storms right here. There's one heater down here that's really tall where you see the orange colors and all of the lightning going on near Appleton. And if I take out my inspection eyeglasses here and I look really close, see the spotlight there, the crosshairs, 46,000 feet. That is no insignificant storm down there in the Orton and Appleton area. That is a very tall and towering storm. Now, when we go back and loop this as the storm made its way over, as the storms made their way over Battle Lake, pardon me while I get this stuff out of the, here we go. How tall were these clouds? There they go. They did peak up. See the oranges popping in here? That's interesting to me. So these storms were flirting with 40 to 45,000 feet. And while not the energetic type storms of 50 to 55,000 feet, these did have some punch. There it is, West Battle Lake. Same timestamp as before. So this storm peaked up, and let's see if we can get a detailed image of on the same scan time here, 45,000 foot or so. So this is not a little tiny storm. If one of those puppies touches down on the ground, if one of those circulations do touch down, they could be something that caused some damage. So if it does touch down, stay the heck away from Dodge and seek your tornado precautions. Now, they are not the type of storms that typically sit on the ground and last for a long time. They're not the type of storms that are typically the most violent, but they could be destructive. So not likely to see severe weather as we go through the afternoon hours. That's a look at the echo tops. Let's show you the reflectivity on this line of storms here. I'll give you some storms in the path of the, or towns in the path, and give you some identification as to where these cells are moving. I'm actually talking and working and analyzing these in real time because Hutch was out doing some shopping and getting some much needed house chores done around the house today, not expecting severe weather. And then whoop-de-doo, here we go. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, as we take a look at the Wadena area, these storms are only creeping along at about 10 to 20 miles per hour max. They're moving in a north-northeasterly direction on the north side here, and this one here moving out in a different direction. This arrow says it's moving south. I don't think so, Tim. Let's take a look at this. It's moving off to the, well, you can see these individual cells pushing north, but it has developed down to the south. So it has tricked the radar algorithm into thinking it's moving south. If you're in the Long Prairie area, we have a pretty stout little thunder shower that's working its way through, and it's growing in intensity and moving north and east at about, well, up to 20 miles per hour. So in this particular instance, as we pause this, Long Prairie, you're going to be in the path of this storm. It's only moving I'll put it at 18 miles per hour. And we're looking at a Long Prairie arrival or ETA in about 30 minutes. So at about 6:15, that storm could be near you. And as we take a look at this cell that's just to the north of that in red here, that's moving off to the north and east at about that same clip. We'll use 18 miles per hour. Oh, that looks like it's reaching into northern parts of Todd County, Todd County, Minnesota there, Staples, Motley area. And in fact, Motley, 94 minutes away. They're really slow movers. Clarissa, though, in about 25 minutes, it'll be near you. So just after the 6 o'clock time frame. So that's that area of storms. Now let's zip up to these storms on the north side. And you can see if I loop this, how these ones are just kind of spinning and creeping their way northward. So this is a little low pressure system here. You got this counterclockwise spin around this low pressure area here, now over Battle Lake, and it's moving up toward the big lake on Otter Tail now. So Perham up into that area, not far from, say, Rush Lake and Rose Lake. Those areas are seeing those storms push up. How about Becker County? Look at the stationary amounts of very heavy rain. This is just off to the east of you in the Devil's Lake area, Detroit Lakes area rather. Frazee on Highway 10 seeing some very heavy rain. And at times we saw the pink showing up there on Highway 34. That had to be close to Height of Land Lake. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Height of Land Lake. So these areas here getting some very heavy rain right now. Let's take a look at the spin. Because of the solitary or slow movement of the rain cells, and because Otter Tail County has been a big winner as far as rainfall goes over the last bit, watch for some areas of rising waters with these showers and storms. I will take a look at the spin and see if there's anything to be concerned about there. Look how slow these are crawling right towards Detroit Lakes. They're moving backwards. There's this easterly flow. Do you see it? That's kind of working backwards against the normal flow of storms here in the northern hemisphere, which is usually west to east. So in Detroit Lakes, this has got to be only moving at about 10 miles per hour. Let's put the speed of movement at 10 miles per hour. And where is it heading? Here it is now. So this batch of storms moving back this way, I'm going to put it at about 16 miles per hour. We'll calculate that. Detroit Lakes in 19 minutes, particularly the north side of town up there on the Highway 34 corridor. The big lake itself may get missed by this core of the storm, but there's more moving into the main part of town. So Detroit Lakes within the next 10 to 20 minutes. These are not severe storms, but they are drifting in your area, Audubon, on about 35 to 40 minutes away from you. Now let me look and analyze these storms, see if I see any other areas of concern for spin or shear in these storms. It's a very, very weak, if there is anything at all, on the cells that are moving into the Highway 34 corridor. Very weak. And the history, do we see bright reds next to bright greens? Maybe a little bit, just north of Frazee briefly. That's it. There is a little bit of evidence of that in this storm that's moving up here toward the Highway 108 corridor. So if you're in Maple Lake, Star Lake, those areas, Dead Lake, that's the same storm that made its way out of the Battle Lake area. You could kind of see that whole line working its way across. It does look like some of this spin, the reds next to the greens, is really waning, and it's becoming less of a chance or less of a factor. So that's good news. So some excitement in the weather today. Let me see if there's any questions on here. Had a lot of rain today, like Ashtabula. Sent the photo to my messenger. Thank you, Hudson. I'm going to go ahead right here and see if we can get Hudson's. Hudson, would you please make a note here, if you're still on board with me, that I have permission to share that photo? And if I do, I will share it with everybody here. I don't like to share other people's work online, even live like this, when it's a breaking situation. I'm over in Stanley, North Dakota, and was confirmed tornado 15 miles south of town. So we have activity out in the western Dakotas. I did get a word that there was some active tornadoes. Let me turn on storm reports here as well, so I can kind of highlight what's going on across the region. And here we go. We'll turn on storm reports for the last 6 hours. The funnel cloud sighting in the Lakes country has not popped up yet. We do see in northeast South Dakota all these little pixels here, or these icons. 1 inch hail reported. Over 60 mile per hour winds reported near Aberdeen. Central parts of South Dakota getting some damage. South of Watertown here, we got a damage report here. This looks like in Hamlin County, they reported 1 inch tree limbs broken from the gusty winds with regards to that storm, and 1 inch diameter hail. Closer to us, a lot fewer and fewer reports as you go north. The atmosphere not quite as stable. Ryan says, hey, Hutch, we're 5 minutes south of DL. Very dark clouds. Ryan, thank you for your report. And Wadena, question mark. Yeah, you guys in Wadena here, and gals in Wadena, are seeing some storms that are really pushing up through Todd County now. This is that main line. The risk of any funnel clouds or tornadoes appears to be weakening. The colors you're looking at here, this is what Hutch is helping you watch, and that is the spin in the storms that are moving towards places like New York Mills, Perham, the Highway 10 corridor into Wadena. There is some spin on this storm. That's closer to Motley, if you will, and this is really far away. See, there's Motley. Oh, it's behind my head here. I don't want to move sorry. There. Okay, let's move the radar around. There we go. There's Motley, Baxter, Crow Wing County out there out as you head in toward the Brainerd area. And there's a little bit of red next to green. Very, very weak. Does it mean there's going to be a tornado? No. Could we see a funnel cloud? Yes. Could it touch down? The chances aren't great. But if it does, that one we showed you moments ago was it was a big one. Now let's take a look in my messenger here. I'm going to do this offline real quick. So pardon my eyeballs wandering here as I look for more content from you. And thanks to all of you for sharing your uploads and messages with me here. Let me see if I can see a message. And we do have... Yeah, so Corey's video, I've got that. And now let me look over here. Sorry. You know, one of the things about this that makes severe weather coverage interesting but difficult is that I have a lot of channels that people send stuff to me on. The email, Facebook account 1, account 2, and different things like that. So it takes a bit of time just to verify what I'm seeing and what's coming in here. But let's go ahead and do that. As things have gotten a little bit interesting, approaching the dinner hour here. Hudson, I got your photo, Hudson. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to make sure I have your permission to use it, Hudson. Let's see. Thank you, Brittany. Thanks, Ruth. I appreciate that. We'll get back to the storms out west momentarily. Thank you very much, Teresa, for the comments. Park Rapids, are you going to get anything? Heideland Lake, those storms are moving into that general direction, and the line is only moving at about 15 miles per hour. You're going to get rain in all likelihood. I don't think we're going to see severe weather. It just was briefly interesting. Susie reporting hot Mesa. That's Arizona, nowhere near us. And it's just kind of sticky and muggy here. All right, I'm looking for your, Hudson, I'm looking for your permission. I'm replying to you right now. Do I have permission to show? If you would comment on here, Hutch, you have my permission to show the photo. I would appreciate it because that way I would go ahead and take a look at what we have going on. Let me make sure I'm still on board with you all here. I may have just clicked a button and gone offline on one of the channels here. So let me just double check. And here we go. Yeah, that's a look at the picture. Hudson capturing a shot of that from the beach there, very close. A lot of heavy rain coming down with that storm system. I'll describe the scene to you. And over the water, you know how you can see a rain shaft coming down? You can clearly see the rain shaft. And this funnel, it was a funnel at this time, is laying right along the leading edge of the rain shaft or the downdraft, and the updraft of the storm was spinning up, creating this funnel. Awesome photo, Hudson. Thank you so much. I'm just going to verify or see. Hudson says yes. He gave you permission, says Stephanie. So what are you waiting for, Hutch Johnson? Let me tell you, nothing. Let's go right to it. Thanks, Hudson. You help make Hutch's weather, and I appreciate each and every one of you for sharing your, and we'll show you that video once again. Here you go. This is, you know what, you can see how urgent this situation can become because when you're out and about and you're seeing something like this, you're out playing hum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum. Look at this. Kids were just playing at the sandbox there, right? And then all of a sudden across the lake there, right here is the rain shaft. But when you look up just a little higher in the cloud, you see one of these puppies right here. And that's the funnel cloud. So right along that boundary, and I'm going to make this just a pinch smaller here. Let's go this way, just so I can fit more of it on my screen. See how I have to just kind of make this work. Okay, here we go. So here you have the downdraft part of the storm, the rain, and it's making its way across the lake. And that's a downdraft, sinking air out of the storm. And the rising air up into the storm rides along that downdraft. And it was a spinning updraft, and that's where you see the funnel cloud. This is a funnel cloud. You look below on the water, and if you see water coming up and fish flying and all that kind of stuff, then that would be a water spout by definition. So I really, Hudson, appreciate you allowing me and giving me permission to share this. Now, that is a great shot. Thank you, Brittany, for giving Hudson a pat on the back. I hope everybody out there is safe. We weren't expecting this kind of stuff, but sometimes Mother Nature has something else in mind, and it keeps Hutch busy. Now, what we're going to do is take a look at this. This is some video, Jason. You want to see some video of this puppy? Let's go right to it again. This is from Cody, and this was at 5 o'clock or just before, and this is the same system. This is West Battle Lake. Cody Thompson, thank you so very much for sharing this video view of the system as it worked its way across the lake. Look at this. Now, if you look really closely, you not only can see how straight up and down this is, look at that. You see that water getting kicked up right there? I think this was a water spout at that particular time. I do believe it made contact in that particular frame right there, and we'll watch this again. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. So it's there, boom, made contact. No question about it. That was a water spout. And again, if you're on a boat, you don't want to be anywhere near this puppy when the sky gets dark. So I'm glad to see there's not a lot of boats out there. But we'll go back again. Look at this. See that whiteness right there? That is the vortex making contact with the water. Yeah, you can clearly see it there. I'll just have to zoom out in just a little bit. And again, Cody, thank you so much. There it is. There it is. Great video. Awesome job. I'm glad you were safe and at a safe distance. Hey, if they want to learn a little bit about tornadoes and tornado safety, I want to share this with you. If you're ever out driving, because tornadoes don't always happen when we're near a shelter, and you see a funnel cloud and you see a tornado and you don't see it moving left and you don't see it moving right. I don't see this one moving left or right. Cody, did you? No, this one wasn't moving left or right. Oftentimes we say if you can't see it moving left and you can't see it moving right, then it's either moving straight towards you or straight away from you. You don't want to be in that position. So if you're driving on a road and you see one that's far away, travel at 90 degrees or right angles to the storm. Turn left, turn right, and go. And get out of the path of it because it's more than likely coming towards you. If it's really, really close to you, then the advice is, and this isn't too close, you have some time to travel to the left or travel to the right. Some of these storms carrying tornadoes can travel at 40, 50, 70 miles per hour. So they can go faster than you can on a good old country road. So again, if you see a tornado out in the on a drive and you're in your car and you can't see it moving across the road left to right or right to left, then it's probably coming right towards you. Travel at right angles to that tornado. Did you learn something? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever seen a tornado while you're traveling around? The sandbar, when it was coming in, was electric. Amazing. And there was a lot, not only that, there was a lot of thunder and lightning with that storm as well. Getting you back to the radar in the background behind Hutch while I purview and preview some of your comments, and I will take you out west. There were confirmed tornadoes on the ground. I'm not seeing any tornado reports out here, but I'd love to see a picture of that. I'm hearing that there was a tornado report out there in the western part of the state today. So let's see. Battle Lake, says Bonnie. Bonnie, interesting weather on West Battle Lake today. Donna said, just had a downpour, Red Rock Lake, Douglas County. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Douglas County was getting it pretty good down there to the south. Thank you for your report. Judy, hi from Grand Forks. Good to see you on board. And kudos to Cody, says Don. I really appreciate Cody. I really appreciate all of you for sharing your reports. And that is what makes Hutch's weather. Now, if we look out to the west and we look over the last 30 frames or so, which would be a little over an hour, we see a cluster of thunderstorms, but we also see this counterclockwise circulation. These storms moving this way slowly, these ones coming down out of Canada to the north. So there's an area of low pressure up here. Look at the outflow from this storm near Rugby. You can actually see the collapsing storm going away, and out from the collapsing storm, it's like burping down toward the ground. Blap, blap. Okay. And then all of that outflow from the storm, you can actually see the clouds from the radar view here blowing back towards Botno. Okay. That will cause your hair on the back of your neck to stand up. Now we got outflow coming from these storms too. You can see these little faint lines moving this way. This outflow boundary are converging. Are they going to make another storm? Sometimes that happens. It's pretty interesting to see how these all interact. You can see them just clashing. It's like here's outflow from storm to the right. Here's outflow from the storm to the left. Nothing really forming, but along the boundary right here, watch what happens. Zoop. Do you see that guy forming on 52? Yep, that happens from the outflow boundaries colliding, and we're getting some thunderstorms sparked there. Big Pelican Lake by Dunvilla. Yes, Big Pelican Lake, you guys are getting some showers and storms in the area. Again, I'm just tracing down this report here, and I'm looking for the Weather Service in Bismarck. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to wrap up the coverage out west. There was a report of a tornado out there. Yep, I see the funnel cloud sightings. Okay, let's get back to the goodness. Touchdown. Stanley, no one hurt. Grain bin full of baby pheasants. But they lost a few baby pheasants. My goodness. Significant damage. No one hurt. Camper. There was a camper involved. We tell you, get out of things like campers and mobile. And you know what? These were not expected. We were not expecting severe weather. This hit a farmstead out there in Stanley, North Dakota. Okay, so we're looking at way up north here. There's Tioga, there's Noonan. Look at this storm here. This is a strong one north of Bowbells. A lot of them have been piping up from time to time. There's Stanley right there. Let me see if I can get a time. They did have a tornado warning, and there is a picture of a very it was a rope-shaped tornado. The cloud base was super high, so if you can imagine a super high cloud base and a skinny little rope-shaped tornado coming down, touching down, and doing some significant damage, and it is on the ground. So, yeah, even these rope-shaped tornadoes, if they hit stuff, it's not pretty. And I am looking at the damage from this. I can't share this with you. It's not my photo. It's an emergency manager, though, from Otter Tail County out there. And just northwest of Stanley, a touchdown occurred, and there was a lot of hail. And we've got grain bins that were down, and a family of pheasants that was in the grain bin that some of them lost their lives, and equipment and metal tossed all over the place. So it just goes to show you that these storms can and sometimes do produce, even though you might hear somebody say, these don't touch down. No, there's no danger. Yeah, there is. Personally, I was out in the desert of Vegas, and where they have these huge, outside of Vegas, huge dust devils. Now, dust devils, when I was a kid, I ran into them and said, whoa, hey, it got windy. The dust devils in Vegas and in the desert are so strong, and they stretch up about 2 miles high in the atmosphere, some of the big ones, and they pop up everywhere. You can look around and you can see one left, one right. They don't particularly last long. One hit my workstation I was working at in the desert, and it rocked the semi-trailer that we were working out of. We were doing atmospheric research, as a matter of fact. And that thing shook the trailer, almost knocked it over. It filled us with sand and dust, and we went outside, and there it was going across the road. And we got a measurement from our wind anemometer on the roof that failed while it was moving over at over 80 miles an hour. So a gust reached 80. Tumbleweed hit it and knocked it down. And then that's the maximum wind gust we measured there, 80 miles per hour. Was it more? Could have been. Don't know. Bottom line, storms are fading. The strongest cell is right here. That is in, if you're in Todd County right now, central Todd County, that storm is the strongest one. It's not particularly strong. Let's look at rotation. Nope, I don't see any strong rotation. There may be a little bit on this north side, but it's not necessarily what I would be concerned about if I was the radar operator. However, we've seen some stronger ones. So it's north of Browerville right here on the Highway 71 corridor, east of Clarissa. That is where there's a little bit of rotation in it. So again, that's the current situation. Looking down towards the Alexandria area in Douglas County, we're seeing a little bit of shear, that red and green near Home City right here. You see that moving over Hoffman. That cell, there's a little bit of spin in that. So we can't rule out a funnel cloud, and we cannot even rule out a tornado. If one is present, it could be sneaky, very quick, and it likely won't last long, but it can be very destructive. So please seek shelter in an interior room away from windows on the lowest floor possible. And as just illustrated by the emergency manager out in Otter Tail County in western North Dakota, these things can destroy or obliterate small buildings. Camper, nobody was in it. Thank goodness. It's destroyed. And a family of pheasants saw their home destroyed when a grain bin went up in the winds there. That's what's going on there. Thank you so very much for watching Hutch's Weather. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time. I appreciate it even more if you take a moment on Hutch's Facebook page right here to click the follow button. I really want to grow the followers and continue that trend, and you have helped me do that. And also, I'd love to have you on the other page on YouTube to please hit the subscribe button. And if you like the videos, that's great. Hi from Jim in Sioux Falls. Jim Jeffries, good to see you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Star Lake has been storming for at least an hour. Let's look at rainfall estimates before we go and wrap this up. Then I'm going to barbecue some steaks out here. I'm not anticipating severe weather. Thank you for your stars, by the way, to all of you who have supported Hutch's Weather over the years. Coming announcement of excitement and joy, and the fruit of some very hard labors coming to you. That announcement coming sometime in the next week or so. Rainfall. Let's look at the last, not 1 hour. Let's look at the Storm total of precipitation amounts from Doppler radar. Okay, we cannot see too far south of Morris here, but these cells that move through Otter Tail County right here, Battle Lake and points north, the blue and bright colors, that's where the heavier rain fell. I can get the spyglass out here. Here we go. Take a look with me now. And as we go into the Armour area, Amore area, and we're seeing 1.5 to 2 inches of rain in these areas from those slow-moving storms. Battle Lake, where we had the very gusty and circulating wind that touched down on the lake there, it looked like to me, 1.34 inches of rain. Clitheroe, about that 1 inch amount. Henning picking up about an inch, estimated by Doppler radar, okay? And southern parts of Becker County here, south of Detroit Lakes, and north central parts of Otter Tail County, not far from Pelican Lake, okay? We're looking at essentially 1.5 inches. So that's in the Star Lake, Frazee area, and that's not too far from Long Lake and Rose Lake right there, okay? So Rose Lake not getting much, but as we sneak out to the Highway 10 corridor, probably was some pretty nasty. Gerain says 3 inches of rain on the west side of Otter Tail Lake. Let's see if that matches up. There's west side, okay? So if we look at the west side down here, I've got a solid 2 on the radar estimates here, so not out of the question, okay, that we got some real nasty amounts in the old rain gauge there from our system that made its way through slowly today. Passing showers of rain in Barnes County, southwestern, south central parts. Is that near Catherine? Nome? Yep, it's in the Litchfield area. That's 2 to 3 inches of rain estimated. Look at this, where it's bright orange, 3+ inches of rain picked up there. Northern parts of Jamestown, just near the reservoir, over the northern reaches, we're looking at 2 to 3+ inches of rain there. That's today. Spiritwood Lake, just off to the west of you on Highway 20, 2 to 3 inches of rain. Wimbledon, 2 to 3 inches of rain. So some gully washers today from slow-moving storms. Rugby getting hit hard down to the south of you. The Reds, what? Wow, 4.5 inches of rain? Are you kidding me? That there is a gully washer, frog strangling, no fun kind of hip wading kind of storm. 1.7 inches south of Fort Totten, and a good amount of rain here in the Devil's Lake Basin as well. It was very hit and miss today. Not everybody saw rain. That's a look at what's going on. The forecast for the rest of the evening, scattered showers through sunset. This stuff should subside. We'll see more of this type of activity tomorrow, but the best chance will be on the Minnesota side of the Red River as these little weak areas of low pressure move off to the east. So that is a synopsis of what's going on. Thank you very much for joining me, and thank you all for your comments, and I really do appreciate you all. Hudson and Cody, thank you for sharing your videos and photos. Thank you for allowing me to share the photos and videos with the viewers here. Please pass the good word. Hutch is doing the weather. I'm going to hit an @ and I'm going to do a followers. And, I don't do that all the time, but that should tag a few other people so they get a chance to see this. If you have friends that you'd like to see this that might be out on the lakes this weekend, tag them in the comments below. But for now, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Have yourself a great weekend. Again, severe weather not likely. A couple of these storms could produce funnels, and there is a very low chance that we could see one touch the ground or the water surface again like we just saw. Thanks so much. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. You're watching Hutch's Weather. Stay tuned.